everybody, it's Dr. Rick Wallace. It has been one of those weeks for me, and I'm not even close to being finished. But I'm about to take some time out to myself. As I move along, I want to talk to you, and I really hope you listen. We have so many different challenges. I don't know where to start, but here's something that I'm extremely passionate about that is definitely not getting the attention and push that I would like for it to have. We are in the midst of a fundraiser. We need to get this out of the way. We're in the midst of a fundraiser. We need your support. Right now, we are pushing to raise $5,000 over the course of the weekend. Something that seems reasonably possible with the number of people that will see this video, or that can share this video, or that can get with someone and tell them what they know about what I do. There are so many people that I get emails from about what I do. There are so many people who have brought people to me because they needed help. And so there is definitely the possibility, but possibility, probability, and reality are three different things. But that's what we're pushing for. We're pushing for $5,000. The truth of the matter is there's somebody that's going to see this video that can actually donate the $5,000. That doesn't put us anywhere close to what it takes in cost to do what we do at the Odyssey Project. What I've been funding at a rate of probably 97-98% of it. A great deal of it outside of what I do has been done by Dr. Blanchard, my partner and co-host on The Teachers. You take me and him out of the equation, and it's been some other people here and there, and it's been a couple of donations, but I'm telling you, it takes so much to do what I do. Let me tell you a story of just one story of why this is so important to me. About 11 years ago, I was living in Dallas. I was in Dallas for about almost 5 years. I was living in Dallas, and a lady who was working in an organization called the Promising Youth Alliance had heard about me and the work I do, and she asked me to stop by. She just wanted me to come by where she worked at, and she wanted to show me something. So I go by, and it's a housing project, a Dallas housing project. And, you know, there's a center for the kids to come in and play little games and do some other things. But she wanted me to come in. She wanted me to meet some of the kids. She wanted me to meet her staff. And she said, "Can you come sit down in the office and talk with me?" And I said, "Of course." And she told me she had heard about the work I'm doing with young boys and girls, and she said, "We really need you here, both for the boys and the girls." She said, "Do you see this place?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, 95% female head of household. This entire housing project, 95% of the units there have no man in them. The situation was so dire that she says, "I know you have a lot of other things that you do outside of your work in the community, but we're willing to give you one of our offices if you can just set up here. We just need a male presence. Something consistent for the kids to see that's not a dope dealer, that's not somebody hustling somebody, that's not somebody taking advantage, not somebody they gotta be afraid of." And it was wow. And so I worked with her for a while, and eventually she moved on and they replaced her, but they brought in a brother from Detroit who I have become brothers with. He's my little brother. He calls me Big Brother. I'm his I call him Lil Bro. Between the two of us, we went in and we took on that project. And when I left Dallas, he was still anchored in it. And when I would go back up and visit, he'd be still anchored in it. And the beauty of this thing is some of the little boys that we took on that were 10, 11, that you'll see in some of the videos that I've shared, some of the pictures I shared, those little boys are now young men. And here's the thing, they were primed for a system that wanted to chew them up and spit them out, put them in prison, get them hooked on drugs. And every so often they come home from college. Not that I think college is the end all be all to anything for anybody, truthfully, but definitely not for blacks. But I tell you what, college is a whole lot better than prison. College is a whole lot better than the shelter. College is a whole lot better than being addicted. And these are the kids that literally we looked at and said, these kids are off the chain. The worst of the worst kids, just with the right amount of attention, the right amount of guidance, the right amount of proper modeling. We didn't just tell them what we wanted them to be. We were living it. We were showing it to them. We were being it. And that's what the Black Men Lead Rite of Passage is all about. That's just one story. I get people brought to me. We got young black males at an increasing rate, alarmingly increasing rate, that are experiencing suicidal ideation. We have another group that are so frustrated that they act out with violence on the slightest provocation. It's almost inexplicable. Nobody understands it, but someone like me understands it because I spent thousands upon thousands of hours studying it. I've written about it. I've studied it. I've done so much in trying to prepare and present a understanding of exactly what's necessary to rescue our boys and put our girls in a better situation. And we seem to have one plan that we're willing to get behind and be consistent in, and that's complaining. Complaining isn't a plan. If complaining is our only plan, we're planning to fail. And we are doing it at an astronomical rate. We are going to have programs that make up and account for the fact that we have 1.5 million black men who are absent, missing in action in the black community. That means that there's a lot of young black boys who aren't seeing proper manhood modeled. They're not being effectively socialized, which means that they are suffering from an identity crisis. They don't have a place, and they're trying to figure this out on their own. They're dealing with all the frustrations, and then we're wondering why they are so violent towards one another, so violent towards our daughters, so disrespectful to their elders, and seemingly headed straight for a beeline to prison. Why the dropout rates are so high. Number one is the dropout rates are planned. They are literally watching and keeping statistics on these kids as early as 7, 8 years old, because they know they've gotten it down to a science, the same science I'm studying. They can tell by their behaviors in the second and third grade which ones are going to more likely end up in prison, and they're planning for that. They're literally planning out their 10, 15, and 20-year projections for profit based off of the behaviors of 7 and 8 year olds. They're our kids. I've written about the disproportionality of special education referrals of young black males and how that negatively impacts them over the course of their academic careers. I've written about how they're mislabeling them with certain learning disabilities and mental disorders like ADHD and oppositional defiant disorder and intermittent explosive disorder and so many other things. And all of these things just happen to be things that they can be medicated for. And the medications they're giving them are Vyvanse, Ritalin, Concerta, and Adderall, and these are all what you call stimulants that are Schedule II drugs. A Schedule II drug is, number one, highly addictive. Number two, has very little medicinal purposes outside the ones that they say that it does, but you're definitely you're medicating them, and there's this huge disproportionality of black boys being funneled into this special education funnel that seems to be a direct link to the school to prison pipeline. Who's responsible for them? We are. Number one is we need to be educating them ourselves. Number two, we need to be properly socializing. And number three, we need to be advocating for them. I have advocated with entire school districts. I have sat down with school superintendents and with school boards. I have testified before school boards. I have sat down and presented cases. I have fought and advocated for young black boys and literally saved them from being expelled from school for stuff they shouldn't have even been considered, where expulsion shouldn't have even been considered. And it wouldn't have been considered if they'd have been white, but because they were black, it was on the table. And what I'm telling you is we need to advocate more. This shouldn't even be an issue. This should be one of the things that we're talking about. But see, we'll complain about their behavior. We'll complain about how they act. We'll write shaking my head in a post. We'll look, oh my God, we'll call them evil and the devil. But we won't talk about why they are the way they are, how they became. And we'll pretend that they're born that way, that something's wrong with them. It's just a part of the culture. No, it's not a part of the culture. We are making it a culture by not addressing it. We're making it a culture by accepting it. We have the ability to write narratives. We have the ability to change things we don't like. It calls for engagement. It calls for a commitment. It calls for black men, number one, stop acting like you're scared of these kids and show them some love. Is it possible that you can engage one of these kids and they can harm you, or you might end up having that's a price we have to pay. I do this all the time. I know what these kids are capable of. Hell, I used to be one of them. Thank God for Miss Myra Nail Leonard. Thank God for Miss Dewberry. Thank God for Mr. Brewer. Thank God for Miss Geraldine Francois. Thank God for my grandparents. But thank God for people who saw something in me outside the little hard head that was always trying to bang up somebody. When they saw the anger in me, they knew the anger was coming from the fact that I never knew my dad, that I was actually angry with him because he had the audacity to die on me before I ever met him. Miss Myra Nail Leonard had me write an article. And it's funny because a brother that I have a great deal of respect for, who graduated from the high school that I graduated from, but some years later, he just wrote a book called New Rules. This brother is an advocate. He's in the street. He's always standing up for people. He is that person that I look at and say, man, that's the little brother that I look up to. And, and he has a mutual respect for me. And although we graduated at different times, we have a connection. We have something in common. Miss Myra Nail Leonard, our journalism teacher, that saw something in us. Not just academic ability, but a human nature that had something to give the world. And she gave us herself. She passed away a couple of years ago. But we had way more teachers that cared about us then than there are teachers that care about our kids now. And we have to be aware that it's our responsibility. I'm gonna tell you something. I told you a long time ago that I didn't get on here for the likes. I didn't get on here for the shares. I didn't get on here for the accolades. I didn't get on here for the pat on the back. I put in my work. I've earned whatever it is going to be said about me when I'm gone. I've earned it, and I'm earning it. And I have no qualms on the man that I've been and the man I'm becoming and the work I'm doing. So that is not why I'm on here. I'm on here to make a difference. I'm on here to speak truth to power. I'm on here to challenge people. The like button doesn't pay bills. The like button doesn't sit up and address issues. The like button isn't going to fund programs that are literally feeding kids. The like button, none of that. Now, if you want to like it and share it and all that, yes, but we need support. That's the truth. That's the reality of it. The story, like I told you about the one in Dallas with the Promising Youth Alliance. There are literally tens of communities like that in every city. And there are a few of us trying to wrestle with this and battle this. I've been contacted from people in communities as far away as, I'm in Houston right now. I've been contacted from people as far away as Wilmington, Delaware. I've worked with school districts as far away as Charlotte, Mecklenburg School District. I've partnered with Dr. Blanchard, the work he's doing down in Broward County. We're doing some shit, but it's definitely a small drop in the bucket compared to what we need to be doing. So here's the challenge. Commit to giving this weekend. Don't just watch this and jump off. Commit to giving. If you're capable of giving the entire amount, God bless you. You're capable of giving $1, God bless you. But we've got to be into it. And like, I come hard and I give of myself in every way. If you just look at this channel or this spot, wherever you're watching something, look how much I contribute in way of knowledge that you can actually take and do something with. I don't charge for it. Now, I have businesses that I do charge for what I do, but that's services. But I'm talking about the content you can just go check in on, and you can sit up and use it as a point of origin for research, a point of origin for starting a business, a point of origin for changing your financial. All that stuff I give. All while turning around and then giving of myself in the community to situations like this. 2 women, 2 men, 2 couples, which is a big passion of mine, restoring the black family, that's huge, to black boys and black girls. I'm challenging you right now to show some love. This has to be a point of concern for us. Me being on the front lines every day, I see things you don't see. You get to see the headlines of the worst of the worst. I get to see it all. I get to see mothers bringing their sons to me crying because they're so afraid they're going to lose them one way or another. We have work to do. Our kids are killing themselves, they're killing each other, and they are not going to produce the future that we want. If they are our future, think about what that means. If we have so many that are lost, so many that are wayward, so many that are broken, so many that are hurt, so many that are suicidal, so many that are homicidal, so many of them that are disconnected, what does that mean for our future? Are we throwing our hands up and saying the hell with the future? Technically, no. But actively, yes, until we do something different. On that note, look, I'm going to get off. I need to unwind because I still have to get back and get work done. There's still so much I have on the plate that I have to make happen for me and my family and for all the other work I do. On that note, look, I'm going to check out of here. You guys have an unbelievable day. But click the link and give. That's my challenge. On that note, I'm out of here.